Three candidates are running in this year's Thunder Bay municipal election to represent the Red River ward. One of them is David George Noonan. David George, tell us a little bit about your background and introduce yourselves to your people of Thunder Bay and Red River.
Sure. My name is David George Noonan. I've lived in Thunder Bay for 13 years now, just actually down the street from here on Hill Street. And I work for a local company, Superior Foods. We focus on local food, Ontario food. I moved here for a job with United Food and Commercial Workers Union, and have since obviously changed, and so I've worked labor and management. I'm involved in a lot of committees in the city.
4 years ago, you also ran in the
I
Red
did.
River ward. You finished as a runner-up to incumbent councillor Brian McKinnon. Why did you decide to run again?
Well, I ran again, one, because I love the city. I love the neighborhoods that we're in. I want to represent. Another reason why I'm running is, well, I'm angry. I feel our city councillor treats the job more as a hobby as opposed to a responsibility. There's not a lot getting done. Phone calls aren't being returned, and these are the things that I'm hearing. These are the things I'm experiencing as well. Is that we need someone who will take the job seriously, and I'm willing to be that person.
What are some ways that you would do this job differently?
Well, one, I would return phone calls. Two is I would find ways to communicate with people in other ways, whether it means social media or through the newspaper or other avenues. So just ways to have better communication with the citizens. Even just knocking on doors throughout the years, not just at election time. Getting feedback from the community. It's an important way to do it.
What are the major issues in the Red River ward that you feel or are hearing that are being ignored?
Well, right now especially, community safety. Some neighborhoods are very safe, but at the same time, other neighborhoods, we've had a lot of issues with gangs moving in, with higher drug use, and our city council seems to be very silent on the issue. We need to change that. We need to address the issue. We need to make sure that our police services have the tools necessary to do their job appropriately. We need to make sure that our first responders have the training they need, the equipment they need. So these are things that a city councillor should be really addressing. If I was elected to be the Red River Ward city councillor, I would push to be on DSAB so I could directly address these issues. So to help the neighborhoods that want this help too, the individuals who are afraid to be in their homes or in their neighborhoods, so that they will no longer be afraid to be in their neighborhoods.
How would you like to see emergency services address this issue differently? What do you think are some ways that police could help stem this trend that seems to be emerging?
Well, it's not just police. It's a matter of the community having the tools to do the job. So whether it's just more community activism, making sure neighbors know each other, that's a huge thing. So you can see when patterns are off and stuff like that. I got involved with Zone Watch after the last election 4 years ago because I heard about a lot of these issues, and through that it's police and citizens working together to solve minor issues or sometimes neighborhood issues or whatever, and I'd like to see the police get more involved in the neighborhoods. So Zone Watch was a good first step, but now it's a matter of having more, I guess, more feet on the ground. Maybe not more feet on the ground, but more visual presence of police there, and not to be there as intimidation, but to be there as someone who people feel comfortable being around.
Just switching gears a little bit, you've worked for multiple local businesses here in Thunder Bay. What are some things you think City Council could do to make the business climate more friendly for prospective entrepreneurs?
Well, we have to find ways to incentivize companies to come here or to stay here. So that's a major issue. We got to make sure that that the city has options for businesses to be able to help hire more people, because our city isn't growing as it is. We need to make sure that young professionals are staying in the city. We need to make sure that we find ways for more people to move here, and finding more local business, finding more small business is a big first step. So we need to work with the CEDC, the Community Economic Development Commission, to help them and make sure that they have the tools necessary to bring in more business.
What are some of those tools that they could be utilizing if they were available?
So whether it's some things to incentivize, so making sure that companies have the ability, and well, first of all, they have to know about Thunder Bay, right? So Thunder Bay is a good community, and to a good community for your business. So we got to make sure that that's a place that people want to be, that businesses want to be. So through the CDC, finding ways to just to be a place where business wants to be, and like that we have people that want to work, that we have the age bracket that they want. We have the resources that are around. Just making sure that the knowledge is out there for businesses.
You talked a lot about wanting to increase community engagement in the ward. I mean, Red River seems like a very diverse ward. You have a mix of young professionals as well as people nearing or at the retirement stage of their lives. I guess, how do you bring different concerns from those different demographics together?
Well, it's a matter of listening to what the people want. So it doesn't matter what your age is. If you have a concern, that has to be brought to the council table. You know, it has to be brought to, whether it's administration or, you know, it doesn't matter what the issue is or how old you are or your background is. You know, a city councilor has to listen, and that's something that we need right now.
How would you evaluate the job this most recent city council has done with managing the city's finances?
Well, we see that our taxes are going up year after year, right? And it's not to say that they have to go up sometimes, but we have to find ways to reduce the spending. And one of those ways is that we keep spreading out our city. Our city keeps sprawling outwards, and we need to stop that. Like our city is not growing in population, yet we keep building outwards. So one way to look at the finances is to stop building outwards and continue to build inwards. So that way we don't have to keep putting our snow plows out further, our garbage trucks out further, our city buses out further. That all costs money. And then our first responders, you know, like they have to have a certain amount of time to get to places. That also costs money. You know, so we have to look at why we're building out and when we don't need to.
I guess, what would you say to the argument that the areas that are being built out are the desirable areas, that if you want to attract people to Thunder Bay, that's where the demand is?
Well, that's where we have to make neighborhoods that are currently existing. We have to make those the desirable areas. You know, like we want people to be living in the city so that our taxes aren't going outside and further out. So, you know, we want a desirable city, we want desirable neighborhoods, but we can do it with our current infrastructure.
David George, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Matt.
The city's municipal election, voters will head to the polls on October 22nd. Check the Thunder Bay Votes tab on the tvnewswatch.com website for all of our candidate profiles.